All right, welcome. Today, we are diving into something really practical, a clear and direct blueprint for creating the reality you actually want. We're going to break down a popular creator's guide into a super straightforward 3-step method that, honestly, you can start using right away. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could actually design your own reality? It's a powerful question, right? So many of us feel this gap between the life we have and the one we really truly want. So what if you actually had the blueprint to bridge that gap? Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to move past all the abstract kind of mystical ideas and just focus on a practical, repeatable process. Seriously, think of this less like magic and more like a mental and behavioral technology for creating real change. All right, so here's the framework itself. What we're about to lay out are the 3 core pillars of creation. When you understand these, and more importantly, when you use them together, they create this incredibly powerful foundation for making intentional changes in your life. So here's our roadmap. It's super simple. First, we're setting a crystal clear intention. You gotta know where you're going. Second, we're going to embed that intention with daily visualization. And third, this is the most powerful step of all. You're going to shift your core identity. So let's dive into step 1, setting your intention. This is absolutely essential, and it all boils down to one word: clarity. I mean, it's simple, right? You just can't get where you're going if you don't even know what the destination is. So what is an intention when we talk about it like this? Well, think of it exactly like an address you'd put into your GPS. It's not a vague wish like, oh, I want to be successful. No, it's the specific, clear, unambiguous outcome that you want to bring into your life. And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It's the perfect analogy. If you put a vague destination in your GPS, you're going to end up, well, nowhere. Life is exactly the same. You have got to be precise about what it is you want to create. Okay, so you've got your destination plugged into the GPS. What's next? Well, once that address is set, the next piece of the puzzle is training your mind to actually accept it as a possible, even an inevitable reality. And this is where daily visualization comes into play. Now, here's what's so cool about this. The timing is everything. The source really emphasizes doing your visualization in a relaxed state, like right after you wake up or just before you fall asleep. And why is that? Well, because that's when your analytical mind, your skeptical mind, is kind of quiet. Your brain is way more open to new programming. And listen, this is not just passive daydreaming, okay? To make this work, you have to make it real in your mind. You got to engage all 5 of your senses. So don't just see the new car. I want you to feel the leather on the steering wheel, smell that new car smell, hear the engine roar. The more sensory detail you add, the more real it becomes to your brain. So here's the whole point of doing this. You are, in a very real sense, rewiring your brain and your body. By repeatedly experiencing the emotions and the sensations of your goal as if it's already here, you're teaching your nervous system what this new reality feels like. You're aligning your internal energy with that external goal, way before it ever shows up. Okay, and that brings us to step 3. And honestly, this is the big one. This is arguably the most transformative part of this whole process. Setting the intention is crucial, visualizing is crucial, but this is where the change actually gets cemented into your life. It's about fundamentally shifting who you are being, day in and day out. So this right here, this is the core formula. It's almost like a math equation. Your personal reality isn't created by just one thing, right? It's the sum total of your consistent thoughts, your dominant feelings, and the actions you repeatedly take. If you change those 3 inputs, you are mathematically required to get a new output. And that new output is a new reality. Okay, let's make this super, super real with this amazing example from the source. Let's say you want to be a big YouTuber, but you're working a 9-to-5 job right now. The old self thinks like a 9-to-5 person. That self says, I'm too tired after work. I just don't have time to make videos. But the new self, the YouTuber identity, asks a totally different question. That self asks, what does a successful YouTuber do? Well, the answer is pretty simple. They make videos. So you start acting from that identity right now, and you find a way to make videos, no matter. And that's the absolute heart of this step, right there. Your fundamental sense of who you are, your I am state, is the engine that's creating your life. If you keep thinking, feeling, and acting from your old identity, you're just going to keep getting the same old results. To get a new result, you have to be the new self. even when your current reality doesn't reflect it yet. So, what happens when you actually do all this? When you bring all three of these pillars together? You've set that clear intention, you're visualizing it every day, and your actions are finally lining up with your new identity. This is the final phase, where things get really, really interesting. It's a state the source calls co-creation. And this is the payoff. When you finally achieve that internal alignment, your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all pointed in the same direction, you click into this state of co-creation. You've done your internal work, and now the idea is you'll start to notice the external world responding. Opportunities, helpful people, little synchronicities, they just seem to show up to help you along your path. And that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? This whole process hinges on a choice. It's not about waiting for your circumstances to change so you can finally be happy. It's about deciding who you need to be to create the life you want and then living from that identity, starting right now. So the real question is, who will you choose to be today?